Sunday in Sonoma. Ah, yes, the beauty of the picturesque hills in California wine country, matched by the automotive beauty of high horsepower race cars on one of America's great road courses. The Trans Am Series by Pirelli takes to Sonoma Raceway for the second end of a weekend doubleheader live on Racing America. Hello, everybody, from back in the paddock area. Those shots you see of race cars on the racetrack, that's the Q3 Architecture TA2 Series with their morning warm-up, which they don't normally get because it's a doubleheader weekend, but they get today. Here with Boris Said, former Trans Am champion, top 10 in all-time wins, former winner in Trans Am here at Sonoma. Fair to say you love this racetrack. Why?
It's the roller coaster of racetracks in the United States. It's a lot of elevation, a lot of tight turns, a lot of off-camber turns, a lot of blind turns, very technical. And it's one of the only tracks where you don't really have a straightaway, so you don't get much time to rest. You're very busy. So I think that's what makes it so much fun.
Fun is a good word when talking about racing and talking about watching a race as well. So before we talk about today's second race of the weekend doubleheader, we need to look back on yesterday's round one for the Trans Am Series by Pirelli. It started with the CD racing cars of Matt Brabham and Rafa Matos, who was subbing for Chris Dyson. On the front row, Paul Menard right behind. Brabham lost, then regained the lead on the opening lap and was never headed. David Pintarek and Tommy Dreese had a good fight for a spot on the podium. Eventually, they made contact. Pintarek spun, and Dreese would finish in third. Now let's talk Paul Menard. He was running a close second at lap 5 when the window net came loose in his car. A pit stop to fix it put him a minute behind the leader. He charged back to finish second. TA Cup was a great show. Jim Guthrie, who's raced and won in everything from Indy cars to motorcycles, and second-generation Californian Cole Moore had gone at it for the lead. And they did in just about every race this season. They did it yesterday, I think, for the 100-mile distance. They were racing for the lead for 95 of them. But all that was well beyond Matt Brabham, who scored the win. He led from pole to checkers and kept the good times rolling in Trans Am. And now, standing in front of his beautiful Pittsburgh Paints race car, Paul Menard joined us. And I want to start by asking you, what happened yesterday?
I think Kenny Schrader would always put it best back in the day where a $5 part could ruin your day. This turned out to be about a 50-cent spring detent in the window net. Spring just gave up, and so the net fell out, and obviously got black flag, had a fight from the back, but car had really good pace. I was fighting a couple little things, but you know, John and Tony and the boys, we did a couple little changes overnight to maximize try to maximize our day here and bring the fight to Matt Brabham.
After the first two races, it looked like Matty Brabham had a little more performance than your car. And now it looks like you found something here. Have you been doing some development?
Yeah, I mean, we never stop, right? So, you know, Sebring, he showed us that we had some work to do, and we brought a little bit better package to Road Atlanta. And Road Atlanta is not a good track for me. We come here to Sonoma where I've got a lot of laps around, 85% of the race track. I don't know the carousel that well, but I feel really comfortable here, and the guys had 6 weeks to make the car better. So I feel like we can bring the pace to Brabham and Dyson Racing, but yeah, we'll have a workout out for us for sure.
Well, after watching the lap times yesterday, it looks like it's going to be a really good race today. You were right there on pace with them, so it should be exciting.
So let's talk about the qualifying grid for the Trans Am race today. Your best lap time in the race set your starting position. You're outside of the front row for turn 1, but you're inside for turn 2. How hard do you press the issue on the opening lap?
Well, I don't think Matt's declared which side he's going to be on yet. So, looking at yesterday, Rafa got the jump on him and had the lead out turn 1. So I don't know what Matt's going to do. We'll be prepared for either circumstance, and he's got to get the tires hot. It's a little bit warmer today. It's an hour later start. The sun's out, so we're getting some thermal energy in the racetrack, and it won't be quite as slippery as yesterday, but it was pretty slick at the start yesterday, and we just got to get our tires hot.
Have fun out there today.
Appreciate it. Thank you.
Paul Menard, champion of the last 2 years, starting on the outside of the front row today. Ben Sissel is with the man, starting on pole.
Well, thank you so much, Alan. I'm here with Matt Brabham, who is undefeated this season, which is unbelievable, here with the Jim Weed and Chris Dyson Racing. But Paul was asking, I was hearing him saying he's not sure which side you're going to start on. Are you able to reveal that now or not?
Yeah, I don't mind. I think I might just switch it up a little bit, go to the right side, just to keep things different. But It's just one of those things here. It's such a weird track for a start of the race, and you got a left and a right, so it's like, you got to be ahead in one of those corners. And yeah, I mean, I think it's just one of those things where it's just an odd track for that situation. But I don't know, switch it up, keep it different.
I love it. And you're chasing a record. Your dad in the GTP, that beautiful Nissan. How many races in a row have you won now?
Well, yeah, we've won all the races this season so far. So I think that's 3. We got another 4 today. So, I mean, it's a long way to go. I mean, I mentioned it, but I was just more so trying to pay tribute to Dad. I mean, he's won so many races in his career, and he had a hot streak going. So I can hopefully have the same similar one going. But, I mean, it's going to be difficult. It never really plays out like how you think it will. So, I don't know. I said that yesterday, but now I'm like, I don't know. I'd probably stop saying it now because who knows what happens. So, yeah, we'll see. But it's been a good start to the season so far.
You put a lot of pressure on yourself with those comments yesterday. But awesome here at Jim Weed. Alan, back to you.
All right, Ben, thanks. It takes a lot of work to turn these race cars around from racing on Saturday to racing on Sunday. It means a lot of these team members were here well after dark last night and saw a spectacular Sonoma sunrise this morning.
Thank you. The old gang. The old gang. And old.
Born on America's greatest racetracks, developed in the Top Liner lab, tested where it matters most. At every turn, every lap, every win. A protective coating engineered under extreme conditions, applied with precision, designed to last. For high-speed laps and for the people who keep America moving. Top Liner. Dealer opportunities nationwide. Inquire for your area at topliner.com.
Okay, so pretend this is your race car. It's on the trailer, and you have an accident. Ouch! At least your truck's insurance will pay for another one? Yeah, not so fast. Standard insurance won't replace your race car, whether it's in the trailer, in the paddock, in the garage, or the repair shop. But at Hagerty, we can protect it for what it's really worth anytime it's off the track. No matter what or where you race, offer less than a set of race tires. Hagerty, let's drive together.
So if you think about people spend time designing their kitchen or their bathroom, and then the garage is just kind of an afterthought, when it is the largest room typically in the typical house, but it's also the most used and it's the most versatile space. But it's the least thought about, and it's certainly the least designed in the overall construction of a house. I mean, if you want to become a valet, which is great, but most people don't want to be a valet, so they kind of want to just open their garage door, pull their car out, and that's really the problem that we're solving.
Now you have another option. So you have a lift that you can put inside the garage, lift the one vehicle up, put another one, park another one underneath, and there you go.
These days, with the price of homes become so expensive that to move to a house that's a 4-car garage for a lot of people becomes insurmountable. And so they decide, well, maybe the best option is to get a lift. I raise 2 cars in the air, I put 2 cars underneath, and now my garage still functions, and my driveway is not full of cars, which is really the goal.
At Sonoma Raceway in California wine country, getting ready for the second of our weekend doubleheader for the Trans Am Series by Pirelli, and a green flag comes up around 30 minutes, less than 30 minutes from right now. So we're down here on the false grid. With the TA2 cars on the track for their morning warm-up, they have this back staging area that they do for all the sessions during the weekend. All the cars now moving to the grid. They have to get there before a certain time or they go to the back of the field. We talked a lot about that great race for the win yesterday in TA Cup. This car behind Boris and I, that's Jim Guthrie, Albuquerque, New Mexico driver. This red, white, and blue number 62. Jim is in the New Mexico Motorsports Hall of Fame, the New Mexico Sports Hall of Fame. He's raced motorcycles, he's raced Indy cars, he's won an Indy car race at Phoenix, he's raced about everything. This will be one of the cars to watch in the TA Cup race later on today. Jim is 64 years old, and the guy he was racing for the win is 28, and that's Cole Moore from California.
And they put on by far the best race of the day yesterday. They were never separated by more than 10 car lengths at one time, and really exciting. So hopefully they'll put that on again today.
All right, so as more of these drivers get to the grid, follow us this way, and let's go talk to some drivers. Because we have TA drivers up here and out of their cars, and that makes them accessible to us. I saw Tommy Dreesy over here a second ago. His car is vacant.
We got Matty getting out of the car.
Yeah, we just heard from Matty. David Pinterick is up there. Let's go grab him for a second. You got longer legs than me. Run ahead. I'll fill time until you get there. Go on with Boris. He's going to go get David Pinterick. David was racing for the last spot on the podium yesterday when things kind of went sideways.
So, yesterday, no qualifying, had a pretty good race, get turned around a little bit.
Yep.
A little bit of contact.
Yep.
But you had good speed for the podium maybe.
I'm expecting it. I expected it yesterday. I'm feeling pretty good about things.
So what's the plan for today?
Got to keep it clean. I figure some things out. I'm a little slow on learning stuff. It took me 7 sessions to figure out a few things that I think I found a second. So I'm feeling pretty good about today.
Well, I'm not used to seeing you in a white car. We got to bring back the red, white, and blue.
We are doing that for the Indy. The guy who does the wrapping got sick, and we just haven't had a chance to get it back to him and all that stuff. But we'll have it for Indy for the big extravaganza at Indy.
Well, good luck today.
Thanks, brother.
Thanks.
David, thank you. Boris's skills as an interviewer are second to none, and that's I appreciate that very much. Have you watched the Road to Glory series? It's a documentary series on Trans Am Racing and Racing America properties. Takes you behind the scenes on a race weekend, the drivers' journeys, how they got to be and where they are, and so on. Well, the Formula Regional Americas, F4 United States, and Ligier Junior Cup Americas formulas are also part of the Racing America family. And this week's edition of Road to Glory focuses on those drivers and their open wheel weekend season opener down in New Orleans last week.
If I'm not winning at this level, then I'm not going to be winning at the next level. And there's still, 1 or 2 levels to go before I get to the very top. Right now, it's just, first of all, focusing on what I can do to maximize my results this year, getting those wins in, and I think that is what'll open up opportunities elsewhere and hopefully get me onto the next step.
Rev up and get ready for race day with Mission Foods. The world's best racers and tastiest products come together to make every race delicious. Fully loaded tacos, fast wraps, piled high nachos. Whatever you crave, Mission will help you be race ready with easy to make recipes that will take your race day to the finish line. Keep your racing delicious and enjoy all the mouth-watering action. Brought to you by Mission Foods. Too fast, too tasty.
Big news for car lovers everywhere. Now you can get Next Gen at your local O'Reilly Auto Parts store. Every Next Gen formula is built with advanced ceramic technology, and that means a deep gloss finish, serious protection, and long-lasting durability for your paint. World-class racing teams trust Next Gen to protect their race cars under the toughest conditions. And you can trust Next Gen to protect your car every day. Find Next Gen ceramic protection at your local O'Reilly Auto Parts.
Get ready for race day with Stack Auto Lifts. The world's fastest racers and the most trusted garage lifts come together to elevate every moment on and off the track. From rugged 4-post lifts and powerful 2-post systems to space-saving single-post and scissor lifts, Stack Auto Lifts delivers strength, precision and performance for every garage. Brought to you by Stack Auto Lifts, created by racers for racers. Proud partner of Race America for the 2026 season.
JM Environmental Incorporated, Northern California's leader in demolition, hazardous materials remediation, and abatement since 1994. Performance, progress, service accelerated. On the job site and on the track. JM Environmental, proudly powering JM Racing. Proudly supporting Trans Am and Racing America.
Welcome to RacingAmerica.tv. From the local short tracks to the road racing stars of Trans Am, we have you covered. Subscribe now for live access to over 200 grassroots races streaming all season long. Watch anytime, anywhere on your phone, tablet, or TV apps. Get a 10-year archive of grassroots races, plus behind-the-scenes NASCAR team coverage. And when the spotlight turns to Trans Am, Racing America brings you front-row access to the action. This is racing at every level. This is Racing America.
Well, thank you very much. I'm down here at the grid. I kind of started from the back yesterday. Today, I'm going to kind of start from the front. We've got Matt Brabham just ahead of Paul Menard here in that beautiful Pittsburgh paints and stains. We spoke to Paul earlier. He's ready to go. He's wanting to talk to Matthew to see which side he's starting from. Then back here, we see Tommy Dreese. I'm thinking that David Pinteric, I thought he would be here. Not sure who's going right here. I don't know what Tommy Dreese's doing right there. Well, hold on now. Staying here too, Hildebrand. Who's your friend here, Tommy?
This is Mr. Hildebrand right here. Racer, family racer. He's got a kid that's pretty good too. Almost won the Indy 500, I think. Yeah.
I always make clear, like, I drive a race car. My son's a race car driver. There's a little difference there. So,
but the driver, I know you as the driver of the Grey Ghost, one of the coolest Trans Am cars ever.
I agree with you. I won't argue that point. It's a fun car. We'll be out here again this year. So we'll see how things go. But Tommy's the real race car driver. I'll talk to you.
Tommy, Trent Shoring celebrating 50 years. We're celebrating 60 years here in the Trans Am Series. How's it feel to be at your home state of Sonoma?
Oh, it's great to be here in California, just a hop away. And, that's a testament to great companies, right? You've got one that's 60 years old and one that's celebrating their 50th. I think they're going on 51 now. So thanks to Trent Shoring, the whole Malloy family, Motul, and then we've got the Peterson Automotive Museum here now in our car. And it's one of the greatest places for anybody all over the world to come. It's on Wilshire and Fairfax, one of the greatest automotive museums you'll ever visit. And hey, we're ready to go to battle here. It's a great day. It's cool, which is good for me. These things get hot. So just thanks to Trans Am and all the supporters and the partners. And Lacey, Jagger, and Elin, I love you.
Nice. Love it. Well, good luck out there, Tommy. Let me see. Cole Moore in this car. I had to look at the eyes because this will deceive you. That's actually Cole Moore out there in the 27, the winner of yesterday's TA Cup race out here in P1 and TA Cup. Jim Guthrie, one of our favorites out there in the number 62 Guthrie's Garage. But coming up right now, we've got a great little video package here, a fun package, because racing is all about fun. I don't know if I could draw Sonoma just regularly, but we actually put a challenge to the drivers. Check this out.
Oh, this is impossible. Okay, Sonoma. How am I supposed to do this?
Turn one.
Oh boy. Oh no! Where am I going? Back straight, end of the braking zone, left-hand turn.
You got this hairpin back here.
S's coming onto the oval. Oh man, I'm driving all over the place. Here we come onto the straightaway and I win! There we go. Sonoma.
Whoa, I connected it.
Yeah, I closed my eyes. See, I knew I'd draw it perfect. Okay, let me give you a tip. All this is flat out. Let's see if you can do it.
All right, ladies and gentlemen, here we are, beautiful Sonoma Raceway. It's about to get loud when we fire up these monsters right after this break.
Born on America's greatest racetracks, developed in the Top Liner Lab, tested where it matters most. At every turn, every lap, every win. A protective coating engineered under extreme conditions, applied with precision, designed to last. For high-speed laps and for the people who keep America moving. Top Liner. Dealer opportunities nationwide. Inquire for your area at topliner.com.
Trans Am.
Yeah. So one in the 80s, one in the 90s, one in 2000.
Okay, awesome.
So.
Okay, so pretend this is your race car. It's on the trailer, and you have an accident. Ouch! At least your truck's insurance will pay for another one? Yeah, not so fast. Standard insurance won't replace your race car, whether it's in the trailer, in the paddock, in the garage, or the repair shop. But at Hagerty, we can protect it for what it's really worth anytime it's off the track. No matter what or where you race, offer less than a set of race tires. Hagerty, let's drive together.
Live at Sonoma Raceway, the Trans Am Series by Pirelli getting ready to go with the second race of two in our weekend doubleheader. JM Environmental, presenting sponsor of our weekend twin bill. This beautiful course, 2.5 and a shade miles around, 12 corners, uphill, downhill, twisting, turning. It's a pretty amazing place for Trans Am cars to race. So today's Grand Marshal is one of Trans Am's all-time greats. Scott Pruitt was inducted into the Trans Am Hall of Fame in its inaugural class last year. He's a three-time series champion, and his 22 wins rank 6th all-time. Scott is a native of nearby Sacramento, and he will join us today at a track where he won twice in Trans Am competition and serve as our Grand Marshal. He's standing by down at the head end of the false grid with Ben Sissel.
Well, thank you so much, Alan. I'm here with a legend, three-time champion, Scott Pruitt, at his home track to deliver the most famous words in motorsports. Scott, take it away.
Can I do it right now? Yeah. Well, first thing I do is hi to my family at home. Drivers, start your engine! Let's go!
I thought we did a little time off, but we had to hit and then I think you're going up to the booth, right? All right, awesome. Man,
that's a good sound.
That's awesome.
High horsepower V8 racing engines roaring to life on the false grid. They'll roll out onto the pit lane and onto the race course. It'll be 2 pace laps before the green flag and the start of our 100-mile traditional distance Trans Am sprint race today. So there is a noticeable gap in that grid.
Yeah, and Rafa Matos' car, they noticed this morning after warm-up that they had a bad cylinder. So they had to change the motor, and I think they started about an hour and 15 minutes ago, so it's 50-50 if they're going to make it. I saw it looked like the motor was in, but they still had a lot of work to do getting the front end on and the oil and all the waters in and firing it up. So maybe they'll get lucky. Hopefully we'll see it. It'd be a good show to have Rafa in there today.
It would be for sure, but we'll wait and see if he's going to make it out onto the race course for the start of our race or not. In the meantime, let's tell you a little bit about this place. Mentioned just a little over 2.5 miles around and those 12 turns. And you talked about it being the roller coaster, just a lot of fun. It's very physically demanding on a driver.
It's physically demanding because, most racetracks, they take a Road America or Watkins Glen, you have a big, long straightaway. And on those straightaways, you kind of relax your hands a little bit. You look at the gauges. Here, and it's intense. It's like a bobsled course. You're just turn after turn after turn, and a lot of them are off camber, a lot of them are blind, and it's just very technical, but it's a lot of fun for a driver.
Take you for a tour around the racetrack. Tell us critical spots, things your drivers are thinking of as they hit different places on the race course.
Well, turn one's very fast, but as you go through turn one, it's an uphill into turn two. Almost 4 stories you're going up into a very tight turn that's off camber at the exit. So you see a lot of action there with cars getting loose and sliding. Then you go through the little roller coaster section, down into turn 3, up. Turn 3A is a blind corner over the rise, down to turn 4, very tight. Now you're going downhill to a pretty flat-out right-hand sweeper, over the rise into the carousel, which is downhill, turning, up to the best passing place in the track, turn 7. 180-degree turn. Now you're coming down through the S's, which are one of the most fun parts of the track, very fast, just trying to carry all the speed you can. The second most important turn, turn 10, very fast right-hander, but it leads to the second best passing point in turn 11, the hairpin. Here there's a lot of action, very slow, very tight turn, and now you come back to the straightaway, and that's a lap of Sonoma Raceway.
And that is one of 40 trips these drivers will make around this race course today. The distance actually just a shade over 100 miles. It's 101.6 to be specific. But again, 40 laps. There is a time limit, 75 minutes. It may come into play if we see a lot of cautions and a lot of full course yellows.
It's unusually cold out here. Yesterday I noticed that Matty Brabham didn't spend a lot of time. He wasn't very deliberate about warming his tires up on the pace laps.
Yeah.
And Rafa got by him right in turn 1. So it'll be interesting today to see if he's a little more deliberate about getting the heat in the tires. Even as hard as you try these 2 pace laps at low speed, it's tough. But it's going to take a few laps on the green to get these cars up to temp where the lap times come down to what their normal race speed will be.
So there are several races within the race in Trans Am competition, a pathway to build up to a full-blown, fire-breathing 900-horsepower Trans Am car. You see the different color designations you'll see on the scoring ticker as well. The ones to watch today, besides the black-plated Trans Am numbers in the scoring ticker, Trans Am Cup, those are all chassis from Chris Evans race cars with NASCAR Cup-like engines in them. They were a lot of fun yesterday. Super Grand Touring, Ferraris. We have a Ferrari that's leading the way in SGT, and then the Western Championship, the Trans Am Western Championship drivers in the race as well, as this is the season opener for those drivers. So a look at the starting lineup for today's race. The grid was set in order of the fastest lap for each driver in yesterday's race. So Matthew Brabham set the fast lap of the race. He gets pole position for today. Paul Menard set the second fast lap of the race. He starts alongside in row number 1. The Rafa Matos car, Boris reported on a minute ago, it's not yet appeared on the race course. Whether it will make the start or not is very much in jeopardy. Excuse me. Tommy Dreese will be in row number 2. TA Cup, the 2 drivers that fought for the win all race long yesterday, going to be side by side for the start in row number 3.
By far one of the most exciting races we saw yesterday, so hopefully they'll pick up where they left off.
And all the way back through the field for today's round number 4 of the season for the Trans Am Series by Pirelli. So they finished the first of the 2 pace laps. Next time by, when they start heading back down the hill, the pace car will bunch them up, and the field will form up in rows of 2, and we'll come around for the start of our Sunday race. So I asked this question of Paul Menard, if you remember in our interview, but I said to him, okay, you're going to be alongside Matthew Brabham going up the hill to turn number 2. How hard do you force the issue? That'll be a lot of fun to find out. Going to have a camera on board with Tommy Dreese today, the trench shoring machine. He'll give us a ride around. There's Matthew Brabham from pole position, carrying our Jim Weed onboard camera. And that is the voice of our Grand Marshal for today.
He's sitting next to me, and he's probably done that to me before.
Hi, Scott. Scott Pruitt, 3-time Trans Am champion, joining us in the booth for just a bit. Memories of racing here quickly before the start?
Oh, my gosh. And I realize I've been racing here since the kind of mid-'70s. I'm 14, 15 years old, which has been absolutely amazing. But this track is really, really tough. It's very technical, very difficult to drive. You got to know the line. You got to place the cars in the exact right spot all the time. If you get behind, the next 4 turns are messed up.
Yeah, it's cascading chain of errors down the hill, especially, right?
For sure, yes.
Yeah. All right, so let's see. Our weather conditions today, the sun's peaked out a couple of times, but it's really been an overcast couple of days here. You see, it's just 56 degrees Fahrenheit. There's a pretty good wind at times coming across the top of the hill. How that affects things, we don't know. All right, here's the answer to what we asked Paul Menard in our pre-race interview. Matthew Brabham has chosen drivers right for the pole, so he'll be on the outside of Paul for turn 1, but inside when they get to the top of the hill in turn 2.
I don't think their cars are going to be quite up to temperature tire-wise, so they're going to be slippery. So it'll be interesting to see how aggressive they are at the start.
Well, if Paul can get his car warmed up, especially the tires, Boris just said, he might be able to hang around the outside going turn 2 top of the hill.
Here they come. Time to find out. Brabham in the white car with green stripes. Menard to his left. Green flag. We're racing in the Trans Am Series at Sonoma. Up the hill they charge. Who's going to come out the right hand? Turn number 2. And we got one off in the grass and into the tire barrier already right at the start.
I think that's Jim Guthrie.
It's David Pintarek. David Pintarek is off and into the barrier right at the start.
It's a little tough getting going. I mean, with these temperatures, it's perfect for racing, but the starts are a little tough, getting the tires up to temp.
Double check myself. That looked like Pintarek. Yeah, there's Guthrie right there.
Yep.
So he has gotten rolling again, and we will stay under the green flag after an exciting moment at the start.
Brabham's really jumped to about 10 car length lead.
Now the caution's out.
Caution's
Full
out.
course yellow. Full course yellow will slow the field on lap number 1. We went caution free all day yesterday in both races.
Yeah.
And didn't make it past the first corner in this one. So opening lap yellow will slow the field, and a little contact about 3 rows in. Heading into turn 1 sends that man, David Pintarek, into the tire barriers in turn 1. You want to talk about a hard luck season. And David has had a hard luck season in every single race. Alternator failure, competing for a podium spot at Sebring in the season opener. Road Atlanta, competing for a podium spot. Something pierced the oil cooler on the front of his car. Yesterday was racing for what became a podium spot with Tommy Dreese. They made contact. David was the one that spun. And now here he is off the course in the tire barrier.
That's not a great way to start your Sunday.
No, racing luck is a funny thing. I mean, sometimes it just goes in spells. You get bad luck, but then you can go the opposite and have a lot of good luck.
All right, right here. Oh, yeah.
Ooh.
He got...
I don't know if he clipped the inside wall. Looks like he may have just clipped.
Yeah.
I think he tried to go up to the inside of Jim Guthrie in turn 1, and Guthrie came toward that wall, and there wasn't enough room.
I'm going to kind of put the fault on David Pintarek on that one. It seemed like he didn't need to do that so early. You know, yesterday he got to start 3rd.
Yeah.
You know, today he was behind the TAC cars, and that definitely caught him off guard.
All right, want to get another look at that in a minute if we can. First, let's check downstairs with Ben Sissel.
Yeah, thank you so much. I'm down here with Matt, crew chief with Kreider Racing, and David Pintarek. Matt, what are you seeing?
I think we're just stuck in the mud right now. They're going to pull us out. At least they went full course caution. I think they can get us out pretty quick. The corner workers have told David it's not very bad at all. So we'll see what happens here.
And driver's okay? David's fine?
Certainly. Not happy, but fine.
Not happy, but fine. We were actually there filming it, and you could see the tire marks. They hit right about there, and the tire marks go up. But it was, Alan, you're right, it was Jim Guthrie and David Pintarek that connected. Back to you guys up in the booth.
Yeah, good answer there. Driver's fine. He's not happy, but he's fine.
I'd like to see the replay. Jim Guthrie had a long slide really sideways, and it looked like he saved it.
All right, watch that 3rd row of cars.
Well, Guthrie didn't give him any extra room either. I mean, he pinched him pretty hard against the wall. He came over. You can see where he kind of came straight over in front of him.
Yeah.
After seeing it the second time, I kind of agree with you now. You know, in the start, you got to leave that lane open.
Yeah. That was not give and take. That was pretty much just take. He got caught in a bad situation there.
Yep, that's tough. Guthrie would have been on the outside of the third row. Pinteric would have started on the inside of the fourth row, except for the missing car of Rafa. So was that an empty spot on the grid when they came to the green, and David with the faster Trans Am car tried to fill the hole?
It looked like they were side by side, and David was just doing his deal, and Jim was doing his deal, and their deals collided.
Yeah, either way, it didn't work out, did it?
No, not for both of them.
Yeah, that's too bad. Still trying to get the Pinteric car out of the grass, and I believe it has moved on, yes. And he'll make his way back around, but didn't get out of there before he would have lost a lap to the race leader.
I mean, the big recipient really was Cole, because now he's got his father behind him, father and son team leading 1-2, the TA class.
Well, there's David coming back down the hill. That may be a little more wrinkled up than maybe we thought.
Definitely has a little bit of a wrinkle in the hood.
They're going to have to fix that tire rub, because that will not last long.
Yeah. So while we're waiting for the restart, let's talk to our Grand Marshal for just a minute. We started to talk about all the memories of racing here, Scott. Your hometown is not far from here, right? So this would have been your home track, and a win here for you must have been really special.
It was, whether it was in go-karts or IMSA or Trans Am, all the different things I've raced here over the years. It's a special place, and when you look at those really technical, difficult racetracks throughout America, this is by far one towards the top. I mean, it is, the speeds are low, it's very technical, you got to know where you're at with the car all the time, placing it. You always have there's a couple good passing zones at top of the hill, and then right in front of the garage area. But more than anything else, I mean, here we are, like we're right in the middle of the wine country, just north of San Francisco, south of Sacramento. It's such a great area.
Yeah.
And what Marcus Smith and group has done with this track year over year, Boris and I have raced a lot of NASCAR here over the years. I had one of my best finishes here with second place in the Cup Series, and it's always fun being here. The fans are great, the racing is fantastic, and just so many great memories.
I think about, this track opened in 1969 as Sears Point Raceway, but its struggles were real until Riverside Raceway closed outside of Los Angeles, and NASCAR needed a place on the West Coast for a Cup Series race, and they came here. And since that point, that was the momentum that kind of really gave this place, for lack of a more polite way to say it, the capital it needed, and went on from there to the Speedway Motorsports takeover in the mid-90s and so on. And what it is now is just a really beautiful place to come and race.
Well, my first time here was 1988, and it has changed so much around the track with all these buildings and amenities that they've added to the track, but the track is still the same great track. That hasn't changed at all.
The only thing that's changed is you can see through the S's. When we first came here, there was so much dirt that you could not actually visually, as a driver, see down through the S's. And if you caught one of those hillsides, you were up and over for sure. And so when Marcus Smith and group bought this, I don't know, they took like 200,000 tons of dirt out of this place, just cleaning all that up and making it so much safer.
All right, getting ready to go racing. Pace car is off. I noticed, by the way, Jim Guthrie's car, that little door panel that comes out, it's missing from the contact with Pinteric. So Jim's got a little extra breeze coming through the cockpit as we come to the start-finish line and see the green flag. Off we go. Single file this time going up the hill for the most part. And Menard able to hang right with Brabham for the top spot here as they work their way downhill. Turn 3, turn 3A, back uphill, then downhill again to turn 4.
Looks like Matty's just easing away from Paul right now.
Now here they come over the crest of that blind hill into the braking zone for the carousel.
That's such a great turn. And there's so many different ways to take it. You can diamond it, start from outside, come down, apex the inside. It's kind of more of a double apex, and then straight up, top of the hill, hard braking. Double apex here, you make it one long turn, down to the S's.
Tricky spots here.
tricky spot. It's really fast, takes a lot of momentum. It's a little hard to see, but when you come off this right-hand S here, you're coming down the hill, and it's easy to lose the rear end right here.
Then take a deep breath, because turn 10 is going to be something.
Take a big deep breath. Tighten up them belts, that's for sure.
Right there. And hard charging down over the bump at the pit entry to the hard braking zone at turn 11. You're seeing the repairs on David Pintarek's car in the double box as the crew tries to band-aid up the nose of that machine from where it hit the tire barriers inside turn 1 on the start of the race. So there's your race lead. Brabham and Menard. Tommy Dreese now runs third. The TA Cup lead, Cole Moore, runs fourth, with his dad, John Moore, running right behind him in fifth as we follow the leaders here back up again to turn 3.
And here you don't appreciate 4 because it is blind as you go up and over, and you really got to know where the car's going to land on the backside of that turn.
It's pretty quick to get to the brake there too when you come over the hill, right? Before you you almost get there before you see your braking point.
100%.
You're trying to get 100% throttle there, but it's just for a split second before you're back in the binders, braking hard for that right-hander.
Yeah.
2 leaders are checking out.
They have been the class of the field so far this season, for sure. In the 6 weeks since the last race at Road Atlanta, the 3GT Racing team, the Gentilozzi Group, has really been working hard to find a couple things to close the gap back up to Matty Brabham and this Chris Dyson Racing car. And what I saw yesterday, it was really unfortunate that the Menard car had the window net problem because they looked like they had the pace to make a race of it. So we'll see how this goes.
We'll see if it continues today, but it looks like Matty's got a little bit on him now, but you never know. Paul might be saving his tires for the end, being a little easier on all the equipment right now and trying to be real smooth, hoping that Matty maybe wears his stuff out a little bit.
This is one of those tracks. Sears Point is notorious for you really got to manage your tires. All the years we've come here, Trans Am cars, IMSA cars, especially the Cup cars, and that's one of those things you really need to be heads up on. Run a solid pace, never get out of contention, but make sure you have some solid tires there for the ending, getting ready to go fight.
All right, 4th car in line. You got a look at the red Mustang with the white numbers on the side. That's Cole Moore, 28-year-old from Granite Bay, California. He is a young driver who ran the Western Series TA Cup cars last year successfully, 2nd-generation racer. And he's been a contender, won the opening race in the National Series for TA Cup at Sebring this year. Win here yesterday, and he and Jim Guthrie fought tooth and nail for the win at Road Atlanta as well. So driver to keep an eye on, Cole Moore from California in that red Mustang right there, running 4th on the racetrack.
And right behind him is Phil Fogg. He had a little bit of problem yesterday and got in the back, but he's running a really good pace right now, almost just a couple tenths off Cole that last lap.
Had one go straight on up the top of the hill there. There's a little runoff area there that can be used. I think it was the 92 car just kind of getting out of the way. And we stay under the green flag with one car stopped on the course. You're watching this broadcast on Racing America, and if you're joining us for the first time, invite you to check out all that we have for you on RacingAmerica.com. We've got grassroots live streams from across the country. We've got NASCAR Cup team content. And, of course, Trans Am and TA2 Racing, RacingAmerica.com. That is a mechanical issue we're hearing from race control.
Is that John Moore in that car today?
It is. And appears to have it rolling again.
Be interesting if he stays on track or makes his way back to pit lane.
Well,
Sun's peeking through.
He's rolling on down the hill, and he'll be just fine. You can't beat California weather for racing for the most part. A little chilly here this morning for my Florida blood, but you know,
perfect for going racing. Sitting in those hot race cars.
Yeah. A couple of California guys here racing. Tommy Dreese from Los Angeles and Cole Moore from Granite Bay. And right behind Cole Moore,
that's Phil Fogg.
Is Phil Fogg Jr. from Oregon. Phil from Aurora, Oregon. This is one of the TA Cup cars also. Phil, a longtime racer with his brother Steve. His dad raced. And he was a contender for podium in TA Cup yesterday, and then had a little problem and got spun around and didn't wind up being in the money at the end of the day.
He's looking really good today, especially in the hairpin.
So this third, fourth, and fifth, and the second and third cars in line for the lead in TA Cup. These TA Cup cars will race not every week with Trans Am this season, but we'll see them again after we leave here at Indianapolis for the weekend there in mid-June, and then they'll go to Road America as well in mid-June. Be the next couple of times we see the TA Cup cars in competition with the Trans Am Series by Pirelli.
Cole looks a little faster than Tommy Dreese right now, but it's really hard to find a way by. Seems like he's faster in places, and Tommy Dreese's faster in other places where Cole can't get by.
Yeah, two different types of cars here too, right?
Look
at that acceleration on the carousel.
Kind of on the wrong side of the racetrack, but he'll see if he can make it stick up the outside.
Dreese in the black car.
Not giving an inch.
More in the red Mustang.
That's allowing Phil to catch up. There's two cars
racing.
nice. A game of chicken.
So third place to Cole Moore.
That was a nice move.
Really good move.
Hey, that's big props coming from a couple of Trans Am champions. Scott, fondest memory of your time racing in Trans Am?
My first race.
Yeah?
Yeah. So I was brought in by Ford Motor Company. I would go after a championship, like in '86. I went after the IMSA championship, which we won. And then I would support Lincoln Mercury on the Trans Am side. And so with that, we raced in Charlotte on Saturday. I flew with Jack out to Riverside when Riverside was still around. Jack Roush. That was 1986. And I had not signed, I had never joined SCCA Trans Am. So I signed in that morning to get my SCCA license. Started last, and then went on to win the race. That was my first Trans Am victory.
At Riverside.
At Riverside.
Yeah.
What a track that was, huh?
Oh my gosh, that was fantastic.
Checking on the race lead. That's the gap between Matthew Brabham in white and Paul Menard in the blue and yellow trimmed car as they come charging down the hill. That gap is 1.4 seconds as we're almost a quarter of the way through our race.
So it's the fourth race of the year, and that green car is still out front.
Yes. And a change here for fourth place as Phil Fogg gets by Tommy Dreese. Wow, Tommy's car wiggling there off the corner, trying to get power down.
Tommy's kind of backing up a little bit. I don't know if he may be having some issues with the car, but his pace definitely has slowed.
Phil had to get pretty aggressive there because Cole was getting away from him. Now let's see if he can reel Cole back in.
Yeah, that'll be for the lead in TA Cup. Right now, again, running third and fourth on the racetrack. And just kind of tie on to that story. Riverside was a track I never got to. When I first got to the NASCAR Cup Series in media work, I think there were 2 races at Riverside, and I wasn't high enough on the totem pole to make the trip all the way west, so I never actually saw a race in person at Riverside. But I've heard so many stories and read so many things that just seemed like it was the perfect place at the perfect place in time.
It was, and you'd see a lot of the pictures from days gone by where you got off track, came right back on track, off track, and I won my first IROC victory was the last weekend that NASCAR raced there.
Yeah.
So as a first victory in IROC, International Racing Champions, to do it at the last ever race at Riverside was pretty special.
And that was 1988. That was my first race there in Corvette Challenge. We were a support race there, yeah. It was unbelievable fun.
Just a look back at that pass on Tommy Dreese as Cole Moore really hung that to the outside. There's a little strip of water that's running down the natural flow on the property as well, and Moore was out in that and still managed to get the grip down.
He got a really good run, and then this is just a good old-fashioned game of who's going to lift first for this left-hander.
Scott, you were part of the inaugural class in the Trans Am Hall of Fame. When you got the phone call, what did it mean?
It was, how can you say anything but just blessed and honored to be a part of what I think is just an incredible form of racing. When you look at what, the growing up in the 80s and 90s and all the manufacturer involvement and all the hard racing with Willie T and Wally Dallenbach Jr. and just all the guys. Then you had Hans Stuck and Audi, and then Boris came along, and we just had hard, close, physical races because you got to get it done. Not like you have 12 hours or 2 hours or 4 hours to get it done. I mean, when the green flag flies, no pit stops, you're getting after it, and it's a hardcore sprint race, and it's physical a lot of the time.
It was very, very, as much like every lap was almost like qualifying, but the cars were so tough. It didn't have all the aero things hanging off, and so you could beat and bang each other, and the cars wouldn't fly apart like they do now. Now the cars are very brittle.
Big old, rubber donuts down the side of the cars. And, I mean, it was, you push that envelope all the time.
Thanks for coming out today to be the Grand Marshal.
Thank you.
Thanks for spending some time with us. I have good news and bad news. The good news is the bad news is you've been called to race control.
Uh-oh.
But the good news is I don't think you're in trouble for anything like that might have been in the past.
Well, thanks for having me on, and thanks for having me here. It's great to be here, have the opportunity to catch up with you guys and see a great race and catch up with a lot of friends. This is a great day.
Trans Am Hall of Famer Scott Pruitt, our Grand Marshal today. Appreciate him stopping by and joining us for the beginning of our race today. We are about a quarter of the distance in, and Matty Brabham leading Paul Menard by a steady 1.5, 1.6 seconds as we work our way through that part of the race. You've been looking back through the field while we've been having the conversation with Scott at some of the other bits and pieces of competition going on. That's Menard looking ahead to Brabham.
And Paul just ran his fastest lap of the race, and pretty close to almost identical to Matty's lap. So maybe we can start closing in here. Maybe he's just taking care of his stuff, trying to have his tires good for the end, and now he's trying to push a little more.
We talked about John Moore pulling off the course and then rolling back down the hill to the pit lane. Ben Sissel is with him.
Yeah, thank you so much. I'm here with Cowboy John Moore, and John is the only race car driver I've ever known that he gets out with a smile when he's on the top step of the podium. Same smile when he gets out with a mechanical like this, because it's just so much fun for you, huh? What happened out there, John?
Well, I tell you, Ben, it's been a great morning. Had a bad fast race car and had high hopes for the day. Was right behind Cole in the 27. Transmission just let go. Yeah, it's part of the game. You got high performance parts, high performance situation, things break. I can't be upset about it. I'm grateful for Chris Evans and Jeff Stephenson let me drive this bad boy Toyota, and we'll be here next time and we'll rock it again.
I love it. Thank you so much, JM Environmental. Huge part of this, our title sponsor of the Trans Am weekend here at Sonoma. Back up to you guys in the booth.
Peace.
All right, Ben, thanks. I had a chance to have a conversation with John on Friday here. What a great guy. So enthusiastic about Trans Am racing and the TA Cup. And running, we'll see him again later today as he'll be in the Q3 Architecture TA2 Series race this afternoon. That will come up here on Racing America later on.
I mean, if you had to pick one person you want to go out to lunch with, I think it would be John Moore out of anybody. He seemed like he'd be the most fun. He's always smiling, always having fun. And apparently he's a really good motocross racer, too.
And that TA2 race is at 4:45 Eastern, 1:45 Pacific here on Racing America Live. You never know who you're going to stumble across at the racetrack. And joining us in the booth now is a man who's run many laps here in the NASCAR Cup Series, NASCAR Hall of Famer Bobby Labonte. How you doing?
I'm great. How you doing?
Doing great, thanks. Thanks for coming up.
Thanks for making that sound better than what it really was. I run a lot of laps here, but they weren't very good, I don't think.
Well, I knew that's where you'd go, but you can't downplay the Hall of Fame thing.
That's true.
There you go.
I fell into that one.
So even though I know the answer already, I'll ask the question. What are you doing here?
Yeah, well, we are enjoying the West Coast. We're on the West Coast swing, I guess.
Yes.
And, we're really, I mean, our goal here is this weekend we got Max Reeves racing the TA2 race.
Who's a Joe Gibbs Racing development driver.
Yep, for Joe Gibbs Racing. So for Silver Hair Racing, I know Maurice and Laura. I've known them for years. So kind of they got into TA2 racing several years ago and have a lot of success with a lot of young drivers. And so, they live 5 miles from myself. So for Max to run ARCA, last year he ran 10 races, won 6 of them.
Yep.
This year a bigger schedule, so running a couple of road courses as well. So we need to get laps. So we penciled in this weekend for him to get laps on a racetrack, road course racing. Come off that short track stuff, and hey, when we go to Watkins Glen in a couple weeks, hopefully this will pay off.
It's a stock car road racing series is what TA2 is, and a good training ground for a lot of these drivers. So when you're here with a young driver that as part of your role with Joe Gibbs Racing you're working with, are you looking at film with him? Are you on the radio with him? Are you spotting for him? What are you doing?
Yeah, that's another great question. And so
that's what they pay me for.
I'm not sure exactly what I was going to do when I got here, but to be honest with you, yes, I'm spotting in turn 7 because Hunter's over in the S's or on top of the hill, so we can see most of the racetrack.
Yeah.
And so having Hunter here to help him spot, we have him every weekend between ARCA and late model racing. So. And then for us, too, what's really great about this series is that, there is a lot of downtime, but there is a lot of time for, and what I like to see is what Noah and Tanner and Max have been doing as far as looking at each other's video data, looking at it, because we don't really get to do that in late models.
Yep.
ARCA is a one-day show. You're in and out. There's no data on the car, so no camera on the car. So this is a different, perspective for him. I think it's a great learning tool. And so for me, I obviously just sit there and listen and watch and, point out things that I might have learned over the years. But also, I think the interaction that I see with Max, especially because I know him the most, is that they're keying off each other, talking about what they can do to go faster. So a lot of that into play. And like I say, I do watch this stuff, but I hope that I can just pinpoint things that we need, that he might have a question about, and let him think about it too. So not just tell him what to do, but ask him what he thinks he needs to do.
Looking back through some of the other cars in the field, as there goes 27, Cole Moore, and Phil Fogg has fallen back off him a little bit for the TA Cup class lead. So it's Matthew Brabham leading Paul Menard by now 2.6 seconds at the front of the field. Cole Moore leading TA Cup, and still Chris Coffey leading the SGT.
And Cole Moore, the last lap, ran a lap within 1 second of Matty Brabham's fastest lap. So it's pretty amazing how fast those TAC cars are going.
Absolutely. There it is. There's another one of the TA Cup cars going down the hill. Memories of racing here. You put a number of laps in here. I know road course racing was never your favorite thing,
right?
But it seemed like everybody on the Cup side always looked forward to coming here.
Sure. Well, obviously, I think back in the day when I started in '93, it was I think just here in Watkins Glen.
Yep.
So we had 2 races.
Yep.
So we really didn't put a lot of effort into it. I remember coming out here one time and, I think it was Jimmy Spencer, myself, and maybe another guy. We run some Super V cars for a day, and then actually drove the pace car for 10 laps, and we learned more in that. So obviously, Gilligan's Island used to be out there, and I was out there a time or two because I qualify so bad. But I always enjoyed coming out here. I mean, I think it's a great racetrack. It was one lap of qualifying wore out, a long time ago. Had some decent runs here. And I think my favorite one was we had a dinner one night with R.J. Reynolds when they used to do a dinner for a lot of the teams. So one night we were out at dinner real late. We come in the next day, first morning practice, and I was the fastest in practice. And I told my guys, I said, take a picture of that because that's probably not going to happen very much, right? So, but no, I mean, I think, coming out here racing and just learning how to road race. And, Boris has helped me here before. I've asked him questions and love obviously coming out here. I think it's a great racetrack, and I do have some great memories here, and most part was just trying to keep all 4 tires in the racetrack most of the time.
It's funny you mention that because the driver you're here with, Max Reeves, who we'll see later on today in the Q3 Architecture TA2 Series, I walked up to him this morning. I said, what's the thing you learned the most yesterday in race 1 here? He said, keep all 4 wheels on the blacktop.
That's right.
Got off in the grass yesterday a little bit and kind of set him back a little bit.
Yeah, I mean, and, again, it's all learning experience. And that's what that's obviously what we're here for, to learn. Yeah. And so for Max, I mean, if we could do it over again, we'd have backed up and probably got behind a car and tried to get some air on the front end to get that reverse air to get the grass off of it. But, hey, we're learning. And, I told him a couple times, I said, hey, man, when we get back from here, we'll go to Millbridge and run some on some dirt. Don't do dirt racing right now, though.
Yeah. Keep it on the pavement. It's a good thing. Watching here, Cole Moore, the leader in TA Cup, 3rd place overall, continue to leg out his advantage over Phil Fogg Jr. It's up to 10 seconds now. And Cole Moore really giving this car a noteworthy ride. There's your SGT leader, Dallas driver Chris Coffey in that Ferrari at the head of the Super GT cars. Got some aerodynamic modifications and some electronic driver aids as part of the road to building up to a full-blown Trans Am car. Final thought here, as you look ahead with Max and this afternoon's race. A good day for your driver will be what?
Yeah, I think again we want to run all the laps, finish the race. Minimal mistakes. He's going to start, I think, 15th or 16th today, so it's a lot better than yesterday. He'll be, I feel like, with a better group of cars, I say, because yesterday he did pick up some cars. So learning from them, following them, but I think at the end of the day, we would love to just have, talking to him about just on the blacktop, set your car up for the corners that you need to pass somebody, especially in the carousel and turn 10. So that's some of the stuff that we want him to focus on.
And Tommy Dreese is going to be focusing on what went wrong with my transmission. Yeah, he has stopped in a runoff area off of turn number 1 up kind of like on a safety area behind the NHRA drag strip here. And tough day for Tommy Dreese. NASCAR Hall of Famer Bobby Labonte, thanks for coming by.
Hey, thanks for inviting me. Always great to see you as well, Boris.
I feel the same way.
All the time. We always get to see each other a few times a year. And I love that the TA2 Series is great for these young drivers. I've seen a lot of these guys come up, go to the next level. Yeah. And it's what a great training ground and also a place for a lot of guys just to race all the time. So it's a lot of fun to be here.
We appreciate it very much.
Yep.
Good to see you, pal. Bobby Labonte, NASCAR Hall of Famer, with us today here getting ready to watch Joe Gibbs Racing development driver Max Reeves in the Cube 3 Architecture TA2 Series race. And again, 4:45 Eastern, 1:45 Pacific later on today for that driver and that race.
Do you think Max Reeves realizes what he has there with Bobby Labonte? I mean, for a rookie driver, I don't think he's teaching him so much about how to drive fast, but just to know how to go about it, how to learn, all those procedures and processes is invaluable. I mean, for a guy that's a champion, Hall of Famer, I mean, he's a legend and just a super nice guy.
Absolutely. And a good one to listen to and to learn those processes from. So let's we had an onboard camera in Tommy Dreese's car. Let's watch and listen and hear the crucial
That doesn't sound good. No. That might be a byproduct of having to run 2 races back to back.
Yeah, even though it's only 100 miles, you prepare for 100 miles, and that's stressing everything. It's the old thing, if you're going to run 600 miles, you build a 600-mile engine. If you're going to run 500 miles, you build a 500-mile engine, and there's a difference. Well, you're going to run 100 miles, and you're prepared for that.
And these cars, if they run 100 miles, they probably put 1,000 hours of maintenance in them after.
Yeah.
So to have just 24 hours, it's a hard thing to do.
Yep. And so Tommy Dreese, after being in position for a possible double podium weekend, is going to fall out of today's race before we get to the halfway point. We pick up the leader here, Matthew Brabham, and the gap back to Paul Menard has shrunk. In fact, it shrunk by about a second. What was 2.6 seconds is now down to 1.3 as we get close to the midway mark of the race.
And now Matty just caught traffic in a really bad spot. This is going to let Paul catch up a little bit.
Down the hill they come, tricky turn 10. Yeah. And now Paul has to deal with that same traffic.
Yeah, but he'll get him going into 11 pretty easy, I think. And, when they cross the stripe, it's halfway, and, he's only 1.3 seconds behind. It's still going to be a good race.
So there we are, midway point of the race. 20 laps down, 20 laps to go. And the gap is 1.3 seconds between Brabham and Menard. Colmore runs third. Phil Fogg Jr. fourth. Jim Guthrie is fifth. Ken Thwaites is sixth. Aaron Young is seventh. David Kunicki is eighth. Simon Gregg is ninth. And Chris Coffey is in 10th. Coffey, the SGT leader. Moore, the TA Cup leader. And the top running driver in the TA Cup West Championship is Kunicki, who runs 8th overall in his Carlberg Racing Dodge Challenger. So there is how things stand at the midway point of the race.
Matty and Paul are such smooth drivers. It's really hard to tell what they're doing right now. Is Matty just playing it safe right now? Does he have more in the tank, do you think, if Paul gets closer?
I mean, that picture that we're seeing, the gap between those two, has been familiar in this season so far, right? And so you just never know. How hard is the leader being pressed and stressed? And how hard is second stressing to try and keep up and close that gap?
I watched Matty in practice how deliberate he is about bringing his tires up to temperature very slow. He'll run 3, 4, 5 laps before he really burns off a fast one. And I think he has a really good feel for how much the tires can take and how to get the best performance out of them. And you can see in car how smooth he is.
Yeah, it's right on board with him.
It looks like he's driving to the grocery store.
Let's watch the speed numbers too. Watch the speeds they take some of these corners at.
Yeah, he's 80, 90 miles an hour in these tight corners, and if you look at his driving and his hands, and he's got his shield up, and his hands are very smooth on the wheel, and it looks like he's just going to pick up a gallon of ice cream.
Now the blind crest of the hill at 129 miles an hour.
Super tricky because you're braking into the crest, and you have to lift off the brake until the car lands and gets all the weight on it before you get back in the brake again, or it's really easy to lock the tires up there. Super tricky turn.
Now let that V8 roar. It's about 130 and change uphill.
And every lap, you take a deep breath about right here because you're carrying so much speed into these S's. And when you're doing it just right, you're just dancing as far as the friction and how the car's sliding, and it just keeps the hair on your arm standing straight up.
148 miles an hour to turn 10. Scrubbing about 40 miles an hour off there. Now watch the speed drop in the heavy braking
Into
zone.
the slowest turn on the track. Feels like you're stopped when you're down here going, 35, 40 miles an hour.
Yeah. This part I love, watching the speed they carry through the turn at the top of the hill.
Oh, that was a quick lap, 30.3.
So Brabham and Menard, 1 and 2, as we work now into the second half of our 100-mile Trans Am sprint today. Reminder to accelerate your career in motorsports and start the search for your next opportunity. Visit racerjobs.com and view open job positions across the racing industry. Or if you have a position to fill, post your job and get access to tens of thousands of applicants across the Racer Jobs platform and help find the right candidate for your job. Racerjobs.com, a racing marketplace built and managed by racers. So it's Matthew Brabham, Paul Menard, and Cole Moore, your top three, as we work now with 18 laps to go in the second end of our doubleheader. From here, Trans Am Series by Pirelli has about a 5-week break before they'll run all the way back on the other end of the country at Lime Rock Park in Connecticut on Memorial Day weekend. That's always a fun one. Again, a tight track, a quick lap, mile and a half or so, uphill, downhill, blind corners. Lime Rock Park is it's got to be a ton of fun in these cars.
And a very, very unique track. It's kind of like a reverse oval. You almost set the car up to turn right.
Yeah.
There's only that one left-hander there, so it's a lot of commitment there to go fast.
Beautiful setting, and always great fun. And that's on Memorial Day weekend at Lime Rock Park in the northwest corner of Connecticut.
I was just talking to Paul Gentilozzi, and he said that Paul was catching him, but to catch him, he was using his rear tires a lot, and they kind of got a little overheated, so now he's got to back off a little bit and cool them down. So it's hard to tell if Matty's just looking in his mirror going as fast as he needs to go.
managing the gap.
Managing the gap, they call it.
Nothing but impressed with the driver of this car, Cole Moore, who I first met at Sebring in the preseason test session, and always got a smile on his face, and just really seems to enjoy driving these TA Cup cars. And again, we'll see him later today in the Q3 Architecture TA2 Series race also. But young man who, along with his father, races motocross, motorcycles. So one day they might be on two wheels, jumping over jumps and screaming around dirt corners, and the next minute they're here at Sonoma racing a high-performance Mustang up and down the hill.
If you listen to what Scott Pruitt said here, it's so important to have the car in the exact right spot. And watching his line has been perfect the whole race. He's smooth. He knows right where the car needs to be, and he's the third fastest car on the track, and that's saying a lot.
Yeah, sure is. Again, TA Cup introduced in the Western Series a year ago. All of the chassis come from Chris Evans race cars, which is in the Pacific Northwest, and then the engines are not the current generation of NASCAR Cup engines. They're the prior generation. So the Chevy R07, for example, or the Ford, they call it the F8, the R8 engine, the prior generation of engines from what they race today. So these things have some steam.
Yeah, I mean, they're 850 plus horsepower, and they have a lot less aero drag compared to the TA1 cars, so in a straight line, they're really fast.
Standard body, although it comes in all the different makes, Ford, Chevrolet, Toyota, and designed to be a way to race a Trans Am car that's a little more cost-friendly than the full-blown, whatever you want to do to it, invent your own Trans Am car.
Yeah, the Trans Am cars have come a long way. I mean, they're almost like the old GTP cars in a way, but still have the same old thing with no electronics. There's no ABS, there's no traction control, and a lot of horsepower, and that's just it's a really good, fun car to drive.
And fun for the drone to be following through that carousel section of the race course. A really unique, different look at it as well. All right, so 15 laps to go in our 40-lap distance in this one. And, speaking frankly, most of the positions have a gap in between them. But let's go take a look around the race course and see if we can get you a look at everybody that's out there on the course, and tell you a little bit about their day. Been watching Cole Moore, who's the leader in TA Cup, and he's also third overall in the race. There's Matthew Brabham, the race leader, and his gap to Paul Menard is at 2.5 seconds now with 15 laps to go. Brabham started on pole. He's led all the laps so far, and again has opened up the gap on Paul Menard to 2.5 seconds. His last lap time was about 1/10 of a second faster than Menard. There is Paul, who's run second every lap of the race. Remember yesterday, if you were with us, Paul had a great looking race car. The window net came down. A part failed that held the window net in place. Had to make a pit stop. They had to fish the rod that holds the netting in place out from under his driver's seat, so he lost about a minute of time on the racetrack, and yet he came back out and had such a good car that he made his way all the way back up to second at the checkered flag. So no such difficulty to overcome so far today, other than the guy in front of him. And so that is Paul Menard in second place. Jim Guthrie between them. Guthrie in that red, white, and blue 62 running third in TA Cup and fifth overall. So the fifth place car has just been overtaken by the race leaders.
And it looks like Paul's reeling them in again. They've been anywhere between 1 second and 3.5 seconds apart, and now it looks like he's reeling them back in.
Got a local yellow flag out in turn 4 and 5. Oh, is that? No, Cole Moore, TA Cup leader and third place on the racetrack, and he's off the course
in the carousel.
Yeah, not under power, it doesn't look like. And he's going to get to a safe spot, so we're going to be able to stay under the green flag. But Cole Moore,
that's disappointing for him.
Oh boy,
what a great job he's done all weekend.
Yeah. Well, We'll see him again this afternoon in the TA2 race, but tough luck there for Cole. And that makes Phil Fogg Jr. the new leader in TA Cup.
Back to 2 seconds now. Matty has on. He's pulling away a little bit.
I was going to say, so continuing where we were, looking back through the field, but we were interrupted. So there's your new TA Cup leader, Phil Fogg Jr., 63-year-old from Aurora, Oregon, longtime racer, and made his debut for 2026 with us at Road Atlanta 6 weeks ago. Finished 9th overall and 3rd in TA Cup. Now he finds himself as the TA Cup leader and 3rd overall. And he is out in front of Jim Guthrie by 37 seconds. So Fogg, if he can keep it clean, in a great position to get a TA Cup win and an overall podium finish as well.
We've definitely seen a lot of mechanicals today, and I can't help to think it has something to do with back-to-back races.
Yeah, because we didn't have any of this yesterday.
And it's just not a lot of time to really do all the work you need to do.
So back behind Fogg, we saw Jim Guthrie a bit ago, who has recovered to run 2nd in TA Cup and 4th overall after, remember, he was involved in the first turn incident in the race that turned him sideways when he and David Pantera collided. There's Guthrie as he runs now 4th overall in the race and 2nd in TA Cup. Albert.
Jim Guthrie just ran the fastest lap for him in the race.
Here's a look back at that incident at the start when David Pintarek and Guthrie collided.
Jim did a really good job keeping it on the track.
Locking up there to try and avoid a car. Wheeling it. I think it's fair to say that Jim is a hard racer.
A hard racer.
He drives hard, and it's fun. But Guthrie right now 4th overall and 2nd in TA Cup after what could easily be described as kind of an adventurous day so far.
And if you look at his lap times, I mean, if he gets a yellow and can close the field back up, he could have a chance at it.
Checking with Ben Sissel on pit road, the report is that Cole Moore's engine quit. And so he did indeed coast to a stop in a safe area. We remain under the green flag, but that's disappointing for the driver who is dominating the TA Cup competition today. So behind Guthrie, next in line will be Ken Thwaites, who is running 5th overall and 3rd in TA Cup.
Well, it's an amazing backdrop when you look at the mountains and how green they are. And
yeah. And soon they'll be all brown.
Yeah.
It happens seasonally every year.
But right now it looks like The Sound of Music. Julie Andrews is up there singing.
Yeah, racing engines are singing.
I know, I like the racing engines better.
Yeah. There's Ken Thwaites, Franklin Road Apparel machine. Ken out of the Nashville area. By the way, he also serves as the Chief Operating Officer of Racing America, owners of the Trans Am Series. Ken is passionate Trans Am racer for many, many years, a team owner formerly as well. And you got a question about what's going on in Trans Am, he's your man right there. And I don't know how many other sporting operations. I don't know any owner or chief executive in the National Football League that's out on the playing field on Sunday. But if these racers want to talk about competition issues and what's going on with their race cars and that kind of thing, well, here's the guy, because he's actually in the thick of it himself.
And understands it.
Completely. So Ken running 5th overall and 3rd in TA Cup. Opening race of the Trans Am Western Championship for 2026, and we've got a number of drivers involved in running for both championships during the course of the season. Basically, it involves adding an extra weekend's racing to go to Laguna Seca in October and run a doubleheader there. Certainly an attractive proposition. And several of the drivers you see in the scoring pylon, if you're a regular viewer of Trans Am and don't recognize some of the names, are West Coast racers that are having their season opener today as part of this combined event. So there is Thwaites, and he's got about 11 seconds on next in line Aaron Young. Young, an Oregon driver, making his Trans Am competition debut this weekend in one of the TA Cup cars. I talked with him this morning back in the paddock area and had a big smile on his face. Said, you know, no idea what to expect when I came into the weekend. This is fast. And, oh, we got two. Oh, it's Pintarek and Guthrie again.
Well, that's twice today.
Well, I hope we get a chance to have a replay of that. I'd like to see who was trying to overtake who and what happened there.
That's going to help Aaron a lot. I mean, Aaron, his last lap was his fastest lap of the race at a 32.9. So this should put these guys pretty close. Looks like no damage. Car looks fine. Just a quick little spin.
And both have continued on, and we stay under the green flag. But yeah, two incidents of contact between the same two drivers in the same race.
Coincidence?
I doubt it, but we'll see. You would know more about that than me.
It's tricky, you know, because they're two different classes, and the cars are faster and slower in different parts of the track, so it's really hard to get by.
And the interesting thing about the Trans Am and the TA Cup cars is there's a speed difference, but top end, it's not that great. The TA Cup cars are fast. And so they remain in close proximity on the racetrack. If this were a basketball game right now, we'd say we don't have conclusive video evidence with which to deliver the verdict.
Well, that got Aaron Young real close. I think he's only 6 or 7 seconds behind now, Jim Guthrie.
And that's for the final podium spot in TA Cup. So the most interesting thing we could probably be watching on the track at the moment is these two.
Right now, watching the clock, I mean, Paul is definitely making a run now at Matty Brabham. Last two laps, he's pulled in almost 2 seconds. In that last lap, he was almost a second faster than Matty Brabham.
All right, so now
8 laps remaining.
Things get interesting again at the front of the field.
You're not saving anything now.
So Brabham in the white number 16 Ford, Menard in that blue and yellow number 3 Mustang. They have run 1 and 2 through the entire race. Question is, will this be the running order they'll have at the end of lap 40?
And the thing is, he can catch him, but will he be able to go by him?
There's another story. This is not the easiest track to pass on, is it?
No, you got to be really deliberate when you make your pass. And the most important place is if you can be really good in turn 10 or you're really good in the carousel. And the difference about that is they're opposite corners. One's a long, long left-hander and one's a very fast, easy right-hander. As you see right here.
I might challenge your use of the word easy there. That's a pretty hold your breath moment if you're carrying a lot of speed through there, right?
It's scary, but it's easy.
Okay.
The carousel is very technical, the way it drops down the hill and how much speed you carry in and just trying to keep the car on the road.
Yeah.
And if I was going to judge that time, I'd say Matty beat him through turn 10 pretty good.
Just ran just ran his fastest lap of the race. Both of them did. They both just ran their fast laps of the race. 129.18 for Brabham and 129.61 for Menard.
So we know they're not saving now. Now it should get interesting.
Yeah. Down the hill they go, turn 5, around the corner, up over the crest of that tricky carousel. And that half of a, that's pretty wide. Yeah, chase him down the hill.
It looks like Matty's really managing the gap, is what you said. That's what I'm learning.
Well, I mean, if Paul ran his fast lap of the race and it was a 129.6, and Brabham at the same time put up a 129.1 for the fast lap of the race, that math doesn't work.
And this lap looks faster to me. We'll see as he comes around the last turn.
Watch the dash.
.29.4.
Wasn't faster, but it was fast enough.
Second fastest lap of the race.
Yeah.
This car is really stable there. It's so easy to get loose there with the off camber at the exit of turn 2.
Picked up 6 more tenths of a second on Menard in that lap. So where they catch traffic and how they catch traffic might be a factor into the end of this as well.
Paul's hoping that for sure.
Well, yeah.
They're running some traffic.
Yep. Just trying to watch, let's see how much traffic might be ahead. There's one TA Cup car just ahead of the race leaders. That's the 86 of David Kunicki. There he is coming down the hill, Kunicki, with Brabham and Menard right behind.
We have a new third place driver, Aaron Young, in TAC.
In TA Cup, yeah. He has overtaken Ken Thwaites for that spot. Nice job stepping aside there by Kunicki as the race leader came through. Looked like in the traffic, Menard chopped a little bit of the advantage away, but now he's got to deal with that same traffic.
Yep, couple tenths.
Yeah, ran 2 tenths faster than did Brabham that last lap. Traffic gives way to Menard up the hill to turn 2.
5 laps to go. If he's got anything, he's going to have to start using it now. He had a little wiggle in turn 2. Did you see that?
Caught that curb on the right a little bit, tossed the front end around. So.
Yep, got a little loose at the exit.
And the next traffic ahead for the race leaders is a pretty good bit away.
You can just see in that turn there how much exit Matty Brabham didn't use, and Paul Menard had to use all the exit. Just tells me that Matty's car, he's got a lot more car left.
Well, the gap 1.6 seconds, and they'll be coming around to 4 laps to go, 4.5 right now. Talked about Matthew Brabham yesterday and his incredible success in this Trans Am car. 32 years old, lives in Indianapolis now, and third generation racer, the name very recognizable. Champion on multiple rungs of the Road to Indy ladder. He's a champion of the Stadium Super Truck Series, the guys that jump the ramps on the road course races. He's raced at Indy in the 500. He's raced in Formula E. He's raced in IMSA. You name it, he's raced in it. And in these Trans Am cars, it's just magical. His track record is phenomenal. He's got 11 wins in 19 starts in Trans Am, and all for this Chris Dyson racing team.
Yeah, like I said before, I mean, I think he's one of the most underrated drivers right now racing in America. He has so much talent, no matter what he gets in. He's so versatile, whether it's a stadium truck, a P2 sports car, or a Trans Am car. And it'd be great to see him get a chance in something like NASCAR or something even bigger. But, man, he sure does a good job for anybody he drives for. And he's one of the nicest kids you'd ever want to talk to.
Another car that's pulled off, and that is the 08 car. That's Aaron Young, who had just moved into the podium spot in TA Cup, and he is coasted to a stop right in that same spot in the carousel. But he's in a safe position and will stay under the green flag. So no yellow to give Menard a chance to close up and look for a late restart.
So a lot of mechanicals today, and that's just can't be a coincidence. There was a race yesterday with hardly any.
The doubleheader strain.
The doubleheader's tough. It's just a totally different way to do it.
Big props to these crews who put in the hours late last night to do a lot of race prep for today. Some of them here as late as 9, 10 o'clock last night after the race yesterday, which for the Trans Am Series was pretty early in the day. And they were here working late last night and back early this morning for a quick warm-up. Make sure nothing, warm-up I call it, a leak check really is what it was. And then back out for the second of their doubleheader. So coming to 2 laps to go, and you see the gap between Brabham and Menard at 2.5 seconds now.
Yeah, I think, as you once said, he's doing a great job managing the gap.
Yep. And really doesn't have any significant traffic ahead of him that might really hinder into the closing laps here and create a barrier. There's the gap. Well, Paul Menard, solid, steady, close, but that's been the story of the season right there, that gap between those two. And Paul will remain a strong second in the championship in his bid for a 3rd consecutive Trans Am Series by Pirelli title. But he's going to have a gap that's going to be bigger than it was before the start of the race, slightly, by Brabham getting points for winning poles and winning races, and Paul getting those second-place markers.
Still, it's only the 4th race of the season. He's got a lot of time to make it up. They definitely closed the gap this weekend, I think. So if they can keep tuning on their car and develop some more things, maybe they can catch up.
Mechanical failure, one bad race, an incident somewhere, and the lead that Brabham has can disappear quickly. And there is a lot of racing yet to go. Lime Rock coming up Memorial Day weekend, then Indianapolis and Road America back-to-back in June. You've got a doubleheader weekend again at Watkins Glen in July. And then races on the tough course at Canadian Tire Motorsports Park and VIR, Virginia International Raceway, before the season rings down at Circuit of the Americas the first weekend in November.
Yeah, I mean, the schedule is great. I mean, it's some of the most iconic racetracks in North America. Should be exciting.
So look just ahead of the front runners. That black and red Mustang is the 3rd place overall runner, and the TA Cup leader Phil Fogg Jr. as Brabham breaks for turn 7.
Coming to the white flag.
Just, don't want the announcer jinx to come into play, but really, haven't put a wheel wrong, haven't had anything visible enough to cause concern mechanically on this race car in every race all season long.
And when you get all 3 things working together, great car, great team, great driver, it's hard to beat. White flag.
And so the white flag in the final lap here at Sonoma for Matthew Brabham as he bypasses the 3rd place car overall in the race and slides up the hill around turn number 2. Brabham, the only leader of this season so far. He lost the lead for about 100 yards at racetrack yesterday to his teammate Rafa Matos at the top of the hill, but got it back quickly, and nothing doing today as from the start he was able to nudge into the lead and not be headed yet. We had the 1 full course yellow in this race right on the opening lap, and so when they regrouped after that, it was a single file restart, and Brabham was able to set the pace and establish his gap on the way up the hill. The numbers sound absurd, but again, he's going to be 12 for 20 in Trans Am competition.
That's
20
pretty
races, 12 victories. And here he comes down the hill, the final couple of corners toward the checkered flag. Turn 10, and now the braking zone one final time for the hairpin turn 11.
Crew headed to the wall. salute their driver.
So Matthew Brabham dominates again from pole position. 2 checkered flag. Brabham wins 4 for 4 in 2026 in the Trans Am Series by Pirelli, and his 12th victory in 20 tries. No stopping Matty Brabs and this Chris Dyson Racing team thus far in 2026.
Well, this year in Trans Am, you got 2 steamrollers, in the TA2 class and Matty Brabham in the TA1 class.
Yeah, for sure. Paul Menard finishes second, waiting on, actually just took the checkered flag. Phil Fogg Jr. will win TA Cup and will finish 3rd overall. Jim Guthrie will come through to finish 4th. Ken Twaits will finish 5th. They'll be 2nd and 3rd in the TA Cup. Chris Coffey will lead flag to flag in SGT to take that to division's top step on the podium. But there's your winning car and winning driver. And it's just been an impressive performance every race so far this season. Waving to some of the fans up in the Turn 7 grandstand.
I mean, when you get on these winning streaks, in 2001 we won 9 of 12 races.
Yep.
And you just get so much confidence from your team and your car. You get there and you look at the entry list and he knows in his head he's going to beat everybody.
And I know, talking to the team, they have every confidence in this driver as well. So CD Racing, Matt Brabham, wire to wire for the weekend at Sonoma. We'll take a break here, come back and talk to our winners on this beautiful Sunday in the first of 2 Cube 3 Architecture TA2 Series. 4:45 Eastern green flag, 1:45 Pacific.
Born on America's greatest racetracks, developed in the Top Liner Lab, tested where it matters most. At every turn, every lap, every win. A protective coating engineered under extreme conditions, applied with precision, designed to last. For high-speed laps and for the people who keep America moving. Top Liner. Dealer opportunities nationwide. Inquire for your area at topliner.com.
Okay, so pretend this is your race car. It's on the trailer, and you have an accident. Ouch! At least your truck's insurance will pay for another one? Yeah, not so fast. Standard insurance won't replace your race car, whether it's in the trailer, in the paddock, in the garage, or the repair shop. But at Hagerty, we can protect it for what it's really worth anytime it's off the track. No matter what or where you race, all for less than a set of race tires. Hagerty, let's drive together.
Back live at Sonoma Raceway after the Trans Am Series by Pirelli, second end of our doubleheader over the weekend. Let's head down to where the cars have come to park for May and talk to our winners. Ben Sissel is there.
All right, thank you very much. Matty Brabham just pulled in that beautiful Jim Weed Athletic Focus drink car here at Jim Weed Winner's Circle. Another win. 4 in a row for Matty Brabham here with Dyson Racing. Unbelievable, giving everybody a little bit of hugs. Matty, if you'll take your helmet off, Hans Device, I want to talk to you a little bit because, man, that was great. You and Paul, you know, that was quite a race for first overall out there with you and Paul Menard. Unbelievable. Matt, tell us about the race out there.
Yeah, it was a tough one. I mean, obviously the guys were thrashing to get Rafa's car out there, so it was a shame to not have him on the grid, but they worked so hard. I mean, it was just such a tight thing there. So I was kind of on my own, and they were all working on his car, but no, this team did an excellent job. All the guys and girls at Chris Dyson Racing all weekend have been giving us just such fast cars, and it's just a dream. I mean, it's a dream, living the dream, winning all these races, and it's not always like this, so I'm really enjoying it, soaking up as much as I can. Obviously, shout out to my mom and dad at home, my wife Cam and Brumby, and then obviously big shout out to Chris Dyson. Wish he was here this weekend, and obviously he is the one that enables us to race these cars along with Jim Weed, so big shout out to those guys, and thank you so much. It was a lot of fun racing with Paul.
Nice. I love it. And I heard a little shout out to your dog Grumby too there, so I love that. Back up to you up in the booth. We're about to have a party down here.
All right, Ben, thank you. And congratulations to Matty Brabham and CD Racing on another flawless weekend. They are 4 for 4 on the season, led every lap so far, won every pole. You can't do better than that.
No, it was pretty impressive win all weekend, the way he drove and how smooth he looked and stable the car looked. I mean, hats off to him and the whole team.
Phil Fogg Jr. with the third step on the podium and the TA Cup class win. Fogg, Guthrie, and Thwaites, your top three in TA Cup. Nice run for David Konicki of the Western Series drivers. Chris Coffey, the SGT winner. And probably the other headline of the day, the tough story, was the engine problem in warm-up that kept Rafa Matos from even making the grid today, despite the best efforts of CD Racing to get the second Dyson car out on the track for the race. Championship standings after this fourth round of the season, it's 23 points between Brabham and Paul Menard, and considering that Menard has finished second and started second in just about every race, that gap could be worse for trailing a guy that's led every lap and won every race.
Yeah, I mean, and things could change. One mechanical, one DNF for Matty, it'll bring the championship right back to even.
All right, so let's take a break, and we'll come back and finish up the final bits of business for our Trans Am Series by Pirelli Sunday race, and look ahead to the Cube 3 Architecture TA2 Series race that comes up in just a little while at 4:45 Eastern, 1:45 local.
Rev up and get ready for race day with Mission Foods. The world's best racers and tastiest products come together to make every race delicious. Fully loaded tacos, fast wraps, piled high nachos. Whatever you crave, Mission will help you be race ready with easy-to-make recipes that will take your race day to the finish line. Keep your racing delicious and enjoy all the mouth-watering action. Brought to you by Mission Foods. Too fast, too tasty.
Big news for car lovers everywhere. Now you can get Next Gen at your local O'Reilly Auto Parts store. Every Next Gen formula is built with advanced ceramic technology, and that means a deep gloss finish, serious protection, and long-lasting durability for your paint. World-class racing teams trust Next Gen to protect their race cars under the toughest conditions. And you can trust Next Gen to protect your car every day. Find Next Gen ceramic protection at your local O'Reilly Auto Parts.
Get ready for race day with Stack Auto Lifts. The world's fastest racers and the most trusted garage lifts come together to elevate every moment on and off the track. From rugged 4-post lifts and powerful 2-post systems to space-saving single-post and scissor lifts, Stack Auto Lifts delivers strength, precision, and performance for every garage. Brought to you by Stack Auto Lifts, created by racers for racers. Proud partner of Race America for the 2026 season.
JM Environmental Incorporated, Northern California's leader in demolition, hazardous materials remediation, and abatement since 1994. Performance, progress, service accelerated. On the job site and on the track. JM Environmental, proudly powering JM Racing. Proudly supporting Trans Am and Racing America.
Welcome to RacingAmerica.tv. From the local short tracks to the road racing stars of Trans Am, we have you covered. Subscribe now for live access to over 200 grassroots races streaming all season long. Watch anytime, anywhere on your phone, tablet, or TV apps. Get a 10-year archive of grassroots races, plus behind-the-scenes NASCAR team coverage. And when the spotlight turns to Trans Am, Racing America brings you front-row access to the action. This is racing at every level. This is Racing America.
What a spectacular setting for race weekend. 3 races down and 1 more to go as we look ahead to this afternoon's Coupe 3 Architecture TA2 Series race. 35 cars going the 100-mile traditional distance over this challenging, demanding course. And look forward to that. And again, that's at 4:45 Eastern, 1:45 Pacific time. Boris, Trans Am competition this weekend. We saw 2 big heavyweight teams go toe-to-toe, and it wasn't easy, but Matt Brabham's team remained perfect on the season.
Yeah, he still looks like he's in total control of the Trans Am Series right now, but I think Paul Menard made some gains in getting their car faster, and when I saw Paul Gentilozzi right after the race, he told me, we got some work to do, and we're going to get to work. We need to find about 3/10, I think.
They'll be getting to work looking ahead to Lime Rock Park next up for the Trans Am Series by Pirelli on Memorial Day weekend. But for this afternoon, yeah, some folks had a rough go. Cole Moore put on a great show. Mechanical issues left him short, but nothing slowed down Matthew Brabham. A 60% win rate now in Trans Am Series competition. Brabham, flag to flag, both races on the weekend at Sonoma. We'll see you at 4:45 Eastern with the Coupe 3 Architecture TA2 Series race. For Boris Said and our entire Racing America production crew, Alan Bestbrook, look us up then.
This copyrighted telecast may not be reproduced, retransmitted, or used in any form without the authorized written consent of Racing America. We hope you enjoyed today's broadcast.
Loud here. Jim Weed, winner's circle. Another fantastic Trans Am Series presented by Pirelli Race. This is a doubleheader, and just judging by the carnage, I would say the doubleheader was a little bit tough on the cars and the teams. This track is very difficult, and it's very difficult to put the power down. So we need you guys to be very loud because we've got a lot of repairs to do after this. So really encourage these drivers up here on the podium. We're going to start with Super GT, and this guy's somehow on the podium twice in this same race. Let's hear number 49 with race quit, Patrick Utt, first in West, second in overall SGT. First in SGT, 2-time Trans Am champion, all the way from the Dallas, Texas area. Let's hear it for Chris Coffey in that beautiful Ferrari. Stephanie Pageant is going to be giving out the trophies. And Stephanie, what is your job title here? It's too many words for me to remember.
I'm the Director of Partnership and Media Sales for Racing America.
Nice. How about that? Come on now. Yes, I like that, Ric Flair. Well, Patrick, what a great weekend for you and TRB. How was your race?
It was kind of quiet. I was kind of by myself mostly trying to catch this guy, but he's just too quick for me. So being on the podium is going to be a habit, but I can't get to that top step yet, but I'm working on it.
You will this season. Come on, give it up for Patrick Utt. Encourage him. Yeah, see, you two, you're holding it. I like that. All right, Chris, take the mic. Tell us about your race.
That was a blast. I want to thank the TA Cup guys for mostly racing me clean, and it was a blast out there, and I was playing with a TA car there at the end, and I mean, I can't thank Trans Am enough for putting these races on. They're an absolute blast to come to. I want to thank my wife, Morgan, my son, Sam, Josh Hurley. He's the only reason that we're able to keep this car pointed in the right direction. And my crew, Xavier and Alex, who work all night with me on all the changes that Josh makes me do. So thanks, guys, and look forward to seeing you at Indy.
Nice. How about that, Chris Coffey? And then the best-looking guy we can find, this dude, I don't know who he is, but he's going to be the podium filler for us. Give it up for Scott Duncan. All right, hold those things up. Scott. Keep up this energy, California. Come on now. Even you, Chris Evans. Who wants Patrick's hat? Boo! Oh, Wendy. All right, it is Summit Sunday. All the podiums get $50 to Summit. Hold those up. Come on now, get loud. Patrick, Chris Coffey, also featuring Scott Duncan. All right, come on, Coffey. You can throw that thing better. There we go. Nice. Oh, nice. All right, California, we got to start getting louder than this. Louder than this. Come on now, hold those up. Patrick, Chris Coffey, Scott Duncan. Super GT, the Trans Am Series presented by Pirelli. Nice job, Scott. All right. This is your last races, guys, so I don't know what you're going to do here with the champagne, but come on now, get low. Right into the eyes of the competitors there. Yeah, exactly. That's how you get some gym weed. Yes. Nice job, guys. Congratulations. Patrick.
7 podiums for TRB this weekend so far.
7 podiums for TRB this weekend so far. Love that. All right, we're going to go to TA Cup West. I see him here. In second place, we're going to find out what happened, but we want to give a big round of applause because he had some kind of a mechanical, but he pulled off into a place where we could stay green. So to me, that's my hero for the race. Let's hear it for Cole Moore, all the way from just up the road from here, from California. Cole Moore was on the podium with us, but the top step yesterday, but we're going to talk to him. He had a mechanical failure, but thank you for pulling off where you did. In first place, ladies and gentlemen, in that number 86, beautiful Dodge Challenger. Let's hear it for David Kunicki, first place, TA Cup West. No? Hold on. I'm hearing there's some editing that needs to happen. I have to follow my board. Here he is. Is this David Kunicki? Eric, we have a dispute. Where's Eric? All right. We might want to point the camera over there. Oh, yeah, Kunicki, can you zip that thing up? Yeah, TA Club West. TA Cup West. Sorry. All right. Yeah, Scott, you're in your place. All right, let's try that again. First place, Kahlberg Racing, that beautiful Dodge Challenger. David Kunicki. How about that? There we go. Well, Cole, that was a tough one because you were a rocket ship out there. What happened?
Yeah, car was running amazing. Guys killed it. Just lost a motor, you know. I think we had like a 15-second lead, and like I said, car was feeling great. Thanks to JM Environmental, everyone here to support us. Trans Am, Racing America, had a great time. But yeah, mechanical, so nothing you can do.
But you've got one more race today, is that right?
Yep, gonna go get hydrated and gear up for the TA2 race.
Nice. How about that, Cole Moore? And thank you, Cole, for pulling off where you did. Kunicki, nice job. Take the mic. Tell us about your race.
Well, my race was pretty quiet, actually. I wasn't expecting this. It's first race for me in over a year. And I'd just like to thank Jefferson Racing and Kurt and Patty from Kahlberg Racing, Trans Am, for having me back. It was a lot of fun, and I'm hoping I'm going to get a little quicker.
Nice. All right, come on, California. Even you guys over here. Hold those up. Let's hear it for Cole Moore, David Kunicki with Kahlberg Racing and that beautiful Dodge Challenger. I've known Kunicki for a while. He's always one of our fastest SVRA Corvette drivers, so it's great to have him out here. Wait, hold on. You're not done yet, David. You stay up there. We got a couple more photos. Yeah, but we've got to hold those up. It is Summit Sunday. And Cole, I know you need to get in your Cube 3 TA2 car, but come on, let's hear it. Cole Moore, David Kunicki out here, Summit Sunday. Thank you, Summit. $50 to all these drivers. Michelle is passing out the Pirelli hats. Scott, you're looking good up there. California, we need a little more energy from you guys. Even you guys over there in the cafe. Come on now. In the cafe. Let's hear it. Cole Moore, David Kunicki here, TA Cup West. And you guys are welcome to throw out those hats. Do whatever you want. We've got some champagne. Cole, you got to be in a race car here soon. I don't know if you want to do champagne. What's that? You can keep it, or you can throw it, whatever you need to do. Who wants Cole's hat? Woo! That dude, he's been the loudest, too. I like that you hit him. Nice. Oh, man, they can catch here. And he's got a race here in about an hour, so I don't know if we want to spray. So come on, one more time. Cole Moore, David Kunicki. Cheers. There we go. True gentlemen. I like that. Ma'am, you haven't gotten a hat yet. We're going to get you a hat. You're loud. I like that. I like your energy. She needs a hat. This lady right here. Nice. Keep it up. It takes that kind of energy to get a hat, ladies and gentlemen. It's your birthday? How about that? How about a round of applause for her birthday weekend coming out here to Sonoma Raceway? I hope you had a good birthday. TA Cup National. Third place, the number 9. And he went back. He went to third. He went back to fourth. He's had an adventure. Franklin Road Apparel. Let's hear it for Ken Twaits, all the way from Brentwood, Tennessee. The race to watch, and man, did he have an adventure. I don't know if they made it even to turn 1 at the green flag before there was contact and a spin. And then he got into it with the same car at 7 about midway through the race, but finished the race in TA Cup National. Let's hear it for Jim Guthrie with Guthrie's Garage. Come on now, we got to get louder than that. This guy had quite the adventure out there on track. And in first place. First race that I've ever known him to be at with us. Is that true? Oh, you were with us in Atlanta. Yep, sorry. My memory's fading. The number 67. Let's hear it for Phil Fogg Jr. From the Portland, Oregon area. Oh, he says he's from Nashville, not Brentwood. Hold on, I got to talk to you before we do the trophies. Come on now. You've been on the podium before. So, Ken, you're here at Sonoma. You had some bad luck yesterday. How was your race today?
It was pretty good, you know, another green checkered race, you know, so I'm glad I worked out for about 10 minutes every day. So, not feeling it at all. It was great, you know, went off a little bit here and there, but yeah, it was great.
Anybody you want to thank?
I'd like to thank Franklin Road Apparel. Go online, www, get your clothes. Come on, let's go.
Nice. Is that really your website? Getyourclothes.com?
I'll make one.
All right, he says he'll make one. I like that. He just made it up. Jim Guthrie, man, what an adventure. And you and David Penterick, you guys must have had magnets on your cars. You couldn't stay away from each other. Tell us about your race.
Well, obviously he clipped me in the left rear there at the start and spun me around, and so we're both at the back. And then right at the end of the race there, I had him by a lap, and I just upped the inside of him in 7, and I thought, oh, I'll be a little professional courtesy. He's going to let me through. He must not have seen me. He turned right in on me, and we both spun out. So it didn't cost either one of us a position because we're so far back, but it was like driving Miss Daisy out there, man. I wanted to race somebody. I wanted to race Phil. And out there just cutting laps on my own was a little bit boring, but I'm glad we're here. I'm glad Phil's here.
Nice. I love it. How about that, Jim Guthrie? And then Phil Fogg Jr., your second Trans Am weekend with us then, right? Take the mic. Tell us about your race.
Well, first of all, I'd like to thank the team, Chris Evans and Jefferson Racing. I got to give a little shout out to Peter, my car crew chief. And then, you know, really after the first 5 laps, I was kind of all alone. I got the luck of Cole's motor blowing and Jim having a little problem. So today was some good luck.
Still had speed, though.
Yeah, but still had a little speed.
Still had some speed, though. How about that? Come on now. Ken's been waiting to hold that trophy up. Come on now. Let's get loud. Ken Twaits, Jim Guthrie, Phil Fogg Jr. There we go. So we have Tennessee, Oregon, and New Mexico. It's Summit Sunday. How about a big round of applause for one of our marketing partners, Summit Racing Equipment, $50. And then Michelle's coming up. You guys are welcome to throw out those hats if you'd like. You've got some tailwind. See if anybody can hit the cafe. That's a pretty good throw. That's nice, nice. Let's see. Ooh. Some people down here. There we go. Oh, there we go. All right, come on. California, I'm losing you. You got to get back in here. Come on now. Even you, Chuck Spicer. Let's hear it. Ken Twaits, Jim Guthrie, Phil Fogg Jr. here in TA Cup National. There we go. I like that. Kahlberg's clapping. Watch out, guys. Nope, he doesn't want to fight, I guess. Oh, my gosh. Lackluster I guess Ken doesn't want to fly home smelling of champagne. Come on, one more time. TA Cup National. All right, California. This is supposed to be a rock and roll state. I need you guys to get loud as these 900 horsepower monsters, because we're about to do TA National. It's been about 5 years since this absolute legend has been on a Trans Am podium. The number 59, because that's his initials, SG. Let's hear it, ladies and gentlemen, Simon Gregg with Dreesy Motorsports. Come on up here, Simon. Dude, uh-oh. Losing some patches. We got to get louder than that. Come on, Dreesy, you can get louder than that. That's your driver up there. See? I like that, Simon. Dude, awesome to have you back up here. In second place, that beautiful Pittsburgh Paints and Stains. I don't think they ever got more than about 100 yards away from each other this whole race. Absolutely fantastic. Two-time Trans Am champion. Let's hear it. Paul Menard with 3GT. Come on, we need some louder people out there. Even you in the Buc-ee's hat. And then, ladies and gentlemen, 4 in a row this season, which is absolutely unbelievable. Running with Jim Weed and Dyson Racing. Let's hear it for Matthew Brabham. Oh, he's coming up with the champagne. Oh, man. That is a Trans Am first that I know of, or at least in my 10 years. That's the way to do it. Whew. A little premature with that, but his new wife said he has that problem. Simon Gregg, tell us about your race, man. That was unbelievable. Great to have you out here on the podium.
It's been a fun weekend. Yesterday was a great race, and today, when I got it after the race, it was such a surprise, to get in the top 3. I appreciate Trent Shoring and Dreesy Motorsports. The crew has been wonderful, and I've been with them like half a season now, and I look forward to the future.
Well, man, when I saw you at VIR last year, it was so great to see you back in our paddock. I could see you itching to come out there. You did a test. So great to have you back. Come on now, Simon Gregg, ladies and gentlemen. Absolute legend up here. Nice. It happens. Paul Menard out there, then your competitor comes. Good thing he didn't do that before the race, but that was a little unexpected. Tell us about your race out there.
A solid day. We were still chasing this guy, obviously, but made a couple little tweaks overnight. The car was really good. I just couldn't push hard for multiple laps. I had to back off, cool the tires off, make a run. I felt like he just kind of stayed a little bit better than us over the duration. But, proud of the 3GT, Pittsburgh Paints. All the guys worked super hard. We're going to go back to work and get ready for Lime Rock.
Nice. Look at that. Already thinking about the next race. Go back to work. That is this 3GT team. Matt Brabham, take the mic. Tell us about your race. Nice job out there.
Yeah, thanks. Obviously, Paul is getting better and better every race. I think we're so close in qualifying there, and that's pretty much like all we had. So it's going to be on for the rest of the year. He keeps getting closer and closer. So we're doing all the work we can to keep ahead. And but yeah, big thank you to the Chris Dyson Racing team, Vince, Scotty, everyone at the team. And they're working so hard. They were thrashing trying to get Rafa out there today. So they're doing an awesome job. We're enjoying it while we can. You don't get these opportunities very often, so we're having a good time. And obviously, big thank you to Kayla's Kitchen. We've been fed all weekend, and it definitely helps. We're very stoked. Obviously, big thank you to Chris Dyson, our sponsors Jim Weed, and let's keep this going. It's a lot of fun.
Nice. I love it. All right, California. Come on now, we got to get super loud. This group right here, I like this group right here. Get a little bit louder. Come on, hold those up. Simon Gregg, Paul Menard, Matt Brabham. Man, the crowd just woke up. Keep it up, guys. I like that. Man, that is cool. All right, hold those Summit things up. It's Summit Sunday. Come on now, crowd. Let's get loud. We're going to get some hats over here. I like this. Yeah, Simon Gregg, Paul Menard, Matty Brabham. Tommy Dreesy's just out there itching to be able to take a selfie. His driver's on the podium. All right, Simon's got a hat throwing. Simon, you left-handed? Yeah. I didn't know that. Nice. And he's ambidextrous, he says. These guys want some. Oh. Now we know why Matt Brabham went into motorsports and not baseball, right? Man, why am I ripping on him? He's the winner. All right, come on, California, last chance. Let's get super loud. Even you, Phil Falk Jr., come on now, get loud. Simon Gregg, Paul Menard, Matthew Brabham up here on the podium. Awesome to have Simon Gregg back on the Trans Am podium. Oh, man, they just go for it. There we go. All right. Matt gets him on the way up and on the way down. Nice job. Paul, nice job, man. I'll see you guys in just, okay, leave me hanging. You deserve to leave me hanging after those comments. I understand. Ladies and gentlemen, that does it for the Trans Am, the TA Cup, the SGT section. But we've got the Cube 3 Architecture TA2 Series coming up in just a little bit. But right now we have a fan walk for SVRA Group 8 and some free gym weed out here. Thank you guys so much for coming out. But if you didn't get a hat here, meet us here for the Cube 3 Architecture TA2 Series Winner's Circle. That's it for us today. Well, actually for the Trans Am Series, but we'll be back in just a few minutes.